For landlords, by landlords. The Rent Perfect Podcast with David Pickron.
Well, hello. We are at the Rent Perfect Podcast. We're going to talk about generations today. Scott, how you doing?
I'm generationally doing great.
Awesome. Scotty Aubrey, you guys know him, always
it.
here, as a co-host with me, working through today's topics on what's important to landlords, investors. We want you to like us, subscribe us, share us with your friends. We try to bring you good, quick information that will just help your life that you can listen to on the road, in your car, wherever. Catch this podcast. We appreciate you being here today. Scotty, tell me about this new generation. What do you see as a landlord? What do you think about this younger group coming in? Give me kind of some demographics or...
Well, I think one of the things I see is that they are looking to us, like as parents, right? We're the parents of, we've got 7 kids between us. We're not quite the Brady Bunch, but we're close now, But I think our kids look up to us and they're like, okay, I want to be where you're at now, right? They don't realize that, we're early 50s and in their mid to early 20s, they want to be where we're at, where we've spent 30 years getting to.
Right.
And I think for them that's frustrating, and they want to grow.
Right.
But
because in their formative years, or when they hit 13, 14, 15, 16, start kind of puberty and start seeing how life works, all of a sudden they're looking to us to go, oh, this is how life is.
Yeah.
Right.
And we've defined it for them. They don't recognize that we embraced the suck and the struggle for
But when they were 1 and 2 and 3 years old, and we were out pounding the pavement, working 10, 12 hours a day, they don't remember those years. They just remember us later in life, right? And so they think that's where they need to be right when they leave the home. They need to have the big custom homes. They need to have the nice cars. They need to have, all the amenities that we have, that we've enjoyed because we can afford it. Right. So I have my daughter on this podcast before. She is rocking it. She's wonderful. She's got a great head on her shoulders, but she is part of this generation. And I think she's amazing, and I'm going to talk a little bit about her today, and I don't want to embarrass her. I'm just kind of using her an example as an entire generation.
Sure, yeah.
So as I tell you kind of a story or two, I hope that you guys realize that I'm just trying to explain a bigger generational problem, not knocking my daughter, okay?
Yeah, or this current generation. We're not knocking anybody.
Yes. No, because, the generations will always knock the generation below them.
Absolutely.
Our generation above us, we didn't know what we were doing and whatever and all this good stuff. So, but I got a quick story for you. I'm out in Hawaii. She plays golf for the University of North Carolina, Asheville. I don't know if you've ever been to Asheville. Just a beautiful place, beautiful campus. Has a great little golf program out there. And so I'm like, hey, I don't get to see her much anymore. She's off on the road. So I meet her in Hawaii. And
that's rough. My heart's breaking.
It's
Hold on.
Tough.
Let me dab the tears.
It's
we
a
can
rough
move on
life
now.
you live, right? Now, I'm out there with her team, and everybody has a Starbucks in their hand, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not much of a Starbucks or even really a coffee drinker, but matcha loca, what are they? Latte, double
I don't drink
shot,
coffee, so I don't know. Yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah.
This is what I do know about them. They're like $8 or $9.
Yeah.
Okay. So we wake up in the morning. We need to get our drink. We go to Starbucks or wherever we get our drinks, and we spend $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. Right. We get our caramel and we get our. I mean, the pure calories in those things. I don't even know if they're coffee
Enough
anymore,
sugar and caffeine to fuel a small country. Yeah.
I think if I handed these kids a black coffee and said, here you go, they'd be like, what? I can't drink this. But, boy, they sure love their coffee loaded up with caramel. Anyway, side note. Anyways. So, and I'm kind of watching this, and it's just not one girl. It's all of them, and they have their drinks, and then they play the round of golf, and they have a great time. And then they stop, and they get another drink, and then on day 2, I meet my daughter at kind of like a food court at a mall, and she gets like a chicken combo meal at this L&L Hawaiian barbecue.
Yeah.
And she takes a couple bites, and she says, yeah, Dad, it's not that good. I don't like it. I'm going to go get another lunch over here. And I'm like, wait. We just spent $15 on a lunch that you didn't like, and you are just looking at me saying, hey, let's go get something I like. So there's another $15.
Yeah.
And, Scott, I don't know how your growing up was. I imagine it wasn't like that.
No, it was a lot of home-cooked meals.
I mean,
a lot of home. Yeah.
Okay, so we're dating ourselves in our 50s. If you're watching on YouTube, you can't see this if you're listening, but I've got a little tiny small cup of water here. I mean, either our company's going bankrupt or we're taking shots this morning for celebrating something. I don't know, but we need to get bigger cups in this. But anyways,
I'm on that.
This is a great visual aid for us. We would get, if we ordered a Coke when we were a kid, we would get this size of a Coke.
Oh, yeah. In the Coke glass, yeah.
And, I mean, it was tiny.
Yep.
And you would sip on it. Like, you wouldn't take a full mouthful, right? You'd sip on it because you didn't get free refills. There were no refills. And I remember as a kid, the very few times I remember ever even going out, my dad would say, you guys have been good today. You can get a Coke. And I was like, oh, we get a Coke tonight. Yeah. I mean, it was, treat. Oh, my gosh. It was over the top. And so, our generation didn't grow up with just these, refills and 32, 44 ounce,
unlimited
drinks. I mean, have you seen these drive-thrus at Starbucks? I mean, they wrap around.
Yeah.
And are on every other corner.
And there's 10 cars all the time in them.
So why do I bring this up? I bring this up because as a landlord, we are renting to this younger generation. And a lot of this generation, just to come back real quick, I think we were at $5-6 minimum wage. These guys on average now, even if the state's minimum wages are low, they're on average $13 to $15 an hour starting. Yeah. Right? The McDonald's jobs that were cheap, right? And they are taking that money, and to me, minimum wage $15, right? Your first job, $15. It's crazy.
That's it is 5 times more than I started out with my first job. I was making $3 an hour.
It is crazy, and yet they all struggle financially. Mm-hmm. I think they make way more than we do now. I know things are more expensive, but they're spending way more money with all the drinks, the cell phones. I was in the mall, on my last road trip here. I was in a mall in Memphis, Tennessee, and everyone had the earbuds in their ears. How much are those?
You're probably $150 minimum.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, and every teenager had them, the buds in their ears. I was looking forward to a $35 bicycle at Christmas time, when I was young. And so my point is a lot of the generation now they don't have an income problem. They think they have an income problem.
Right.
I need to make more money. They have a spending problem, right?
Yep.
And how do we, as we look at these applicants and as we qualify them, how can we really tell somebody's spending habits? So in the past, we've looked at the credit score. Mm-hmm. How was your credit? How are you paying your bills, right? Well, credit has absolutely been neutered in the last 5 years, okay? Yep. You've taken off evictions. You've taken off judgments. You've taken off liens. You've taken off now medical debt, at least for the first year.
Right.
You've postponed student loan debt until December 2025, and I promise you by the time we get to December 2025...
It's 2028.
It's
30.
It'll be off
50.
credit bureaus too, right?
Yep.
So there are all these articles online, if you look, how America's credit score is getting better. Yeah. Listen, our credit scores are not, our behaviors are not getting better. They're not changing. We're just taking off all of the negative stuff on these bureaus. Okay?
I think I know where you're going. I think we need to start digging through the BS, the bank statements.
The B.
Sorry,
like
the BS. We got to dig through the BS.
We need to get into some BS
to get to the bottom of our applicants' real financial situation.
Perfect. You hit right where I'm going, Scott.
Yep.
During COVID, there was an eviction moratorium. We started asking for 12 months worth of bank statements. I needed to know because I couldn't find court records and how you paid your rent.
Yeah. Yep.
Landlords weren't telling us the truth if they had someone who wasn't paying rent. They just needed to get them out.
Right. They wanted them gone.
They wanted them gone, so they weren't telling us the truth. And so we went to asking 12 months worth of bank statements. Now, post-COVID, I'm at 3 months worth of bank statements. What does this do for me? It shows me, first of all, it shows me income coming in. I take that paycheck stub and I take that deposit, that statement, and see a deposit come in there, it matches. Okay? There's a double kind of a identifier. I'm verifying it twice, right? Dual authentication. I'm also looking at rent going out. And what day did it go out? I don't even need to call.
Which is great to look at, right?
I don't even call the landlord now who's not going to tell me the truth about anything, right? And I'm going to take these now 3 months. I was 12 months. Now I'm 3 months. And I'm just going to make sure that everything looks good in the last 3 months. Obviously, if I don't see a payment in the last bank statement, they could be going through a current eviction right now, which hopefully I will catch in the courts. Now, in between that income and that rental expenditure, there are the way they spend their money.
Yep. Where's my disposable income going?
Right.
to?
And at the end of the month, what am I looking like, right? Am I living paycheck to paycheck, but there's a lot of fluff in there that I could cut out if I needed to cut out?
Yeah.
So I look and kind of see their financial health. Now, it's important that we put all of this in our criteria, and so we treat everybody the same, right? So if you need a sample criteria from us, you can go ahead and get that at info@rentperfect.com. But you need to make sure you have this in your criteria, that you're going to ask for 3 months' worth of bank statements, and that there needs to be proof that you can manage your finances enough to pay the rent.
Let me ask you a question. Would you ever, as a potential, property owner, property manager or landlord, would you ever have the need to say, hey, I noticed that you have $400 a month in subscription services, your Netflix, your Disney, your Paramount, your Apple, your this. Would you ever, is that
I probably would not get into the specifics and the details. I wouldn't say, oh, it looks like you like Cane's chicken. I really don't want them to realize that I'm even looking at that. I'm just looking at rent coming in, right, or income coming in, rent going out.
Okay.
But I am perusing that because it's letting me know their financial health. For me, it's either just going to be a yes or a no.
Okay.
I'm not going to take over their financial planner.
Yeah. Your phone bill, you could probably get a better deal at T-Mobile than you're getting at AT&T.
They have probably, 2 parents to do that for them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much just trying to find the person that's going to stay there for 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Gotcha.
So I'm really not going to sit down with them, and that's a great point. I'm not going to sit down with them with their bank statement and go through it. I'm just going to peek at it, and it's going to give me an idea whether the next traffic accident, broken arm, right, sickness, am I getting my rent? That's really what I want to see, right?
Yep.
So anyways, there is a new game in town. It's been in my processes now for about 4 years, and that is the BS, the bank statement.
Got to dig through the BS, brother.
And if someone gives you a hard time about getting bank statements, let them move on their way, because the reality is if we're buying a rental property, an investment property, and the bank says, hey, we need your last year of bank statements, we get on our phone and we have it to them within a few minutes. It's not like anybody has to go down to the bank anymore and search through microfiche. Right. We have these, right on our phones. Now, there is a population that pays cash, doesn't have bank statements. A lot of those guys are on Section 8 housing. This might not work in that type of rental. But where you have, a single family home, an apartment, rents are pretty high and the people are paying it. I want to know that you're banking at a banking institution. You just throw me cash all the time. I don't know where that's coming from, what you're doing in the place that I'm going to rent to you. And so bank statements are very important. It's almost the go-to for me nowadays, and I'm the investigator. I'm the one who runs the backgrounds and the criminals, the criminal records and the eviction checks, and yet alone I lean on those bank statements quite a bit, and I would want you to do that too. And Scotty, great episode. Until next time, check the BS.
Yep.
And continue to rent perfect.